I think we're going to look to be as innovative as we can, forward thinking, and hopefully build a really great culture.
Back with the new manager of the Miami Marlins, Clayton McCullough, joins us live on FT for the first time. Clayton, congratulations and thanks for joining us. How you doing?
Doing great, gentlemen. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah,
all right.
of course.
Who's your golden at bat guy right now? Let's go. Who's your first one? Opening day 2025. Marlins got the base load in the ninth. Who you running up there? Golden at bat. Here we go.
You know what? I would say at least I know that I would be the one that I would be getting hit for sure. Back in the day, who we'd run up there right now? I think we'd have to, guys. Well, we'd have to, wait and see how it shook out. Is certainly, appreciate MLB's, I guess, always looking for ways to draw interest to the game and make it, more exciting. And like you said, getting people talking about baseball this time of year, job well done.
Yeah, I'm all for it. It's great. All right, so let's get into your roster first. What do you know about it? Who do you like? Who have you spoken to? Give us your evaluation of the Marlins heading into next season. Because also, let's be real, the team was not good results-wise on the field last year, no doubt. Year before, they were the surprise Cinderella that everyone was loving.
Yeah, I think part of this, last, I guess, month or so since getting the job last 3 weeks, trying as best I could to reach out and make some connections with those players that we have currently on our roster, getting to know them a little bit. And I think, kind of starts exciting. Always had a good stable of arms here in Miami and pitched well. And, Sandy Alcantara, leading the way there. Great place to start. So we do have some young arms. And I think, overall, the youth of the roster and some of the, transactions that were made, whether in the Arise deal or, some movement at the trade deadline, trying to infuse as much talent in the organization as we could. So that's the exciting part. It's a lot of, young players that are just, kind of cutting their teeth at the major league level. You have some guys, Jake Berger, has kind of, been around for, a few years. So I think that the exciting part is you have a lot of hungry, players looking to establish themselves at the major league level. And then, us as a coaching staff, doing our best to, put them in a position where they can continue to grow as a player, kind of, from year to year and take steps, from one year to the next.
Do you fear this is your first managerial job since you were back in the Blue Jays organization, cutting your teeth as a manager? Do you fear that when you see something like what happened to Skip, he had a 2-year deal and then they were like, we'll go 1-year deal, coming into a new job, do you fear that that's a possibility, or is that something that comes up for stability with your family? Obviously, it's one of 30 jobs and it's coveted, but is there a fear of uncertainty? Hey, if I sign a 3-year deal, am I here for 3 years? How is that working? And was that discussed?
You know what? I haven't really thought about that. Okay, if I don't do well, hey, what will happen? I think that, we people in this business long enough, you kind of come to understand that, Eric. I remember starting my first, 9-10 years in baseball, we're on 1-year contracts. And so you're just, looking to try to do the best job I can this year, and then, hey, go from year to year and hope to be better than I was the previous year. So I just have not put any thought into, well, hey, if things don't go well, then I'm out, because I don't know if that'll put me in the, the right spot to do the best for our organization. And, my hope is I plan to be here for a long time, and that will be, predicated on how well a job I'm able to do here.
Are you going to have a mix of managerial style between Dennis Holmberg and Paul Elliott, the mate, or is it going to be more of the Dave Roberts approach? Dennis Holmberg and Paul Elliott are like lifers with the Blue Jays organization. Only Clayton probably knows who they are, and maybe Ron Davenport might know who that is also. But what's your managerial style going to look like, no matter what your roster looks like?
Yeah, I think it's important. I had a chance to watch Dave closely the last 4 years. Been in the organization for 10, seeing Dave there for 9, and just how great he is with people. I think he does a remarkable way of making those around him feel important and feel special, giving his staff members autonomy to go do their job, and then in turn you wanted to do everything you could to kind of hold up your end of the bargain and play your part. Dave had a really great pulse for players, could build relationships with people, and how he was able to kind of shoulder so many expectations and still come out each day very consistent and with his energy and the way he again treated people. So I hope that I can even come close to being like a good as person as Dave is. And I saw his ability to manage the bullpen was phenomenal. Being able to connect with veteran player, star player, young player, is a skill that I think at this time of day, being able to manage and deal with various personalities and people is important. So I hope from that end, that is something that I can do here is build some real solid relationships with our players and staff, so they get and they trust in what we're going to be trying to do here to put us back in a spot where we can become more consistent and win.
What can you bring from the Dodgers organization that you think doesn't exist yet in the Marlins organization? I'm not saying it's like, oh, they don't have this at all, but maybe something that's more developed that you've seen with the Dodgers organization that you think could be something that the Marlins don't have yet. And I'll also add to that where, Andrew Friedman obviously has been running the Dodgers for a long time now, but he comes from the Rays and you're working for Peter Bendix, who also comes from the Rays. So it's that same umbrella. And the Marlins do want to take a page out of the Rays playbook. So how do you kind of wrap all that up and put it together into the Marlins?
Yeah, I think the beautiful part of our game is there's not one single clear path to how things are going to get done. And our situation here is a little bit different than some others, but I think we're going to look to be as innovative as we can, forward thinking, and hopefully build a really great culture. I think some things I've seen similar already is as much. One thing that stood out for me in LA was at the end of it, like the bottom line with a lot of the resources we had, though, was just like the quality of people. And they put players first, would look in any way to utilize each other and utilize various departments in order to maximize that particular player, their ability. And, the player improvement didn't stop at the major league level. And I think we're, from that end, looking to try to do that here. Like players want to get better. And our job as staff members is to, collaborate with each other, communicate exceptionally well, put the player first, and again, try to, increase and help their earning power while also, upping their performance, which in turn is, mutually exclusive for both of us.
Clayton, what's the first thing that you want to do? You've been on the job for a couple weeks now. What's your first thing that you want to do to implement what you're talking about? Because every new manager you see is like, I want to do this and I want to do that and I want to change the culture. It's like in every sport, right? Every new coach, every new manager is like, we got to change the culture here. I got to implement, make the players first. So how do you do that? What's the insight? What's the first thing that you need to do to change that? Because I'll be honest with you, I live in Florida. The Marlins have won twice. They've never won the division. They're looked at as like, they win every once in a while, but most of the time they're bad. So how do you turn that around, not only in the organization, but in the Miami area?
I think we have, again, like a real, unique opportunity to look at, our situation that nothing's off the table. I think we can't, it's not going to be, maybe in some ways a fair fight looking at the teams in our division. And that's fine. I think we, kind of can embrace that in the way that which we look to, train our players, here at the major league level and in the minor leagues. Maybe look at how, we approach that day to day with them potentially, a little bit differently than others. Maybe it could be our competitive advantage. And the first part with, you're undertaking all of this, you guys know, is like it takes some trust and we have to build some equity with the players. And the first part is, we're going out and, continuing to try to build a staff that we feel like, believes in like those ideals. And while, hey, we're not going to be perfect. We're just trying to push the ball forward a little bit each day and not look too far ahead about what it's going to look like, in September. But I think, it's just right now trying to bring as many terrific people as we can, onto our bus that are going to put the players first. Again, be able to communicate exceptionally well, collaborate, and come up with maybe some unique ways, and maybe be a little bit bolder with how we approach our training and gameplay.
Holiday shopping gets hectic. Why don't you let America's #1 meal kit help you out? HelloFresh has over 50 recipes to choose from each week. They pre-portion the ingredients and then ship them right to your doorstep.
If you're looking to fit a specific lifestyle, HelloFresh features preferences like fit and wholesome, quick and easy, or a vegetarian option for you too.
HelloFresh helps you eat healthier and stress less about how you're getting the ingredients and ideas for that perfect home-cooked meal.
In many parts of the country, it's cold out, so skip the hassle and snuggle up next to your phone or your computer and pick out your favorite recipes. Then let HelloFresh handle the planning, the shopping, and most of the prep. It's easier than ever to get dinner on the table, quick and painless. We've made many of these recipes ourselves, and they are delicious. Trust me.
Get 10 free meals at HelloFresh.com/freeFT. Applied across 7 boxes. New subscribers only. Varies by plan. That's 10 free HelloFresh meals just by going to HelloFresh.com/freeFT.
How much of that staff is completed? I just saw somebody got hired, and I mean, you can probably announce all that's been hired, but how many more do you have? And are there positions that the Dodgers had that you're like, hey, we need one of these, and the Marlins are like, you need a what? You need a 5th coach that wipes down the seat and turns the air conditioning on the benches?
No, our group here, I mean, they've been terrific. I think had a, even prior to my, engagement with them for this potential position, had a good, clear idea of what they were, looking to try to build from a structural standpoint. And now we're, still at the stages where we are continuing to interview candidates, and we've brought some on, that we've announced, and we still have some work to do on that end, guys. But we're, kind of daily. There's a lot of people that are working hard to continue to, vet, interview people, and again, trying to find what's the best fit. For us as the Marlins, and for those individuals that we're speaking to, right? It's a two-way street. You want to feel like you're coming into a situation where it's going to help you grow professionally, and also that you feel proud about being a part of what we're trying to do.
Okay, so I'm going to be the one to ask the question. When is the Kratz hiring announcement / interview / he's going to be like the quality control assistant to the traveling secretary coach?
I want to see his face too.
He's doing way too well with what he's doing right now. He doesn't want to come down and be bogged down dealing with me every day, huh? It's become a big personality.
Clayton, you are the easiest person ever to deal with. That's why Ohtani would give you high fives as he hit his 6 million home runs coming around first base. You're just you're an easy person to work with. So whoever's going to work with you, they're going to enjoy it. Smiling face, although it's probably going to turn a lot grayer than you are right now. Let's just be honest.
There's a chance it may. This beard, I'm not sure which direction I'm going with this right now. I just kind of let it go over the holidays, so we'll see. I got to get it tightened up maybe before Dallas.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm very in on the beard, by the way. I'm very in on the beard. It's got the manager vibe to it.
Oh, well, yep. Thank you. Yes, Ray is more than I remember a few years ago.
That's fair. That's fair. Hey, I brought up Ohtani there. On your way out, because it kind of looked like at the end of the season, you were having your interviews and you might not be back with the Dodgers. Did you get an Ohtani autograph? And if you did he inscribe it with your favorite Ohtani moment? And if not, what is your favorite Ohtani moment as a coach that got to watch him for a year?
I was, certainly fortunate to be around Shohei last year and tried to not, and with other guys, not ask for a whole lot, but there was a really cool picture that someone had drawn of he and I kind of doing that head bump at first base. And this was like after the regular season, and I asked him, would he mind signing that for me? And he was gracious enough to do that. So that's something that I'll keep. It's a cool picture. But yeah, I mean, got a chance to witness the historic season, and there were times, guys, he's on your team and you're trying to coach him, but at the same time there are things that happen that kind of, you are a fan of baseball, and it was like, there were a lot of wow moments. Probably, I mean, the 40-40 walk-off grand slam, and then the 50-50 day in Miami. It's just kind of, he had a real knack for those moments being there and to capitalize on it and make it memorable.
Hey, Clayton, do you have any injury updates for us on some of the pitchers? Any progress to give some fans hope? Like, what have you heard about, Yuri Perez and Sandy Alcantara and some of the big names that were obviously such a big part of 23 in the playoff run?
I mean, from, all I'm hearing now is that, like, where guys are at and where they finished the season, they're all trending like, in a good spot. So I think as far as, timeline on some individuals, don't have specifics right now. We really want to get out there in that. But when I've heard like guys that were, dealing with some stuff or coming back from maybe some long-term type injury surgeries are progressing in the right track and on the scheduled pace they were set out to be on.
Mm-hmm. My last one. What took so long? We kind of heard your name for a while lingering, and we were like, let's go, make the announcement. We kind of like said it before it was happening, and I saw it everywhere. Was it the classic, oh, sorry about it, I got a ring that I got to show up to spring training with?
No, you guys referring to like this job right here?
Yeah, for it to come to fruition. We heard your name floating around, and then, it took, a few weeks after the season?
Yeah, I think it were, going through it each team and, the timing of some things, people in the playoffs and in our situation, they were very gracious, I think, of understanding that. And I also realized they had a process to run as well. So we, began some conversations there prior to the World Series beginning. And then, when things finished up and, celebration and it got back to Jupiter, met more intensely with Peter and his group over, that week. And then, it was shortly after that, 8 or 9 days after kind of our initial face-to-face where, fortunate enough that they felt I was going to be, the right person here, and it went down.
Yeah. Listen, I understand, Clayton, because, you were red-eyeing it back and forth, LA, New York in the World Series. So, who wants to, on an off day, jump the flight to Miami? I mean, especially in freezing cold New York, you much rather wouldn't have been in Miami for an interview. But totally understand. Totally understand.
You guys
All
understand
right.
that.
We have Max. Of
Yeah.
course. Listen, I totally get the travel schedule. But we have Max Muncy coming on after you. Is there anything we need to ask Max that nobody knows? Or is there something I can ask Max that only he knows about you?
Oh, let's see. Max Muncy. What a beautiful guy. Yeah, I would say, what? No, I have only fond memories with Max, and nothing that I would want to throw out there, in a public sphere about Max at this time.
This isn't public. This is a show. This isn't in the public. This is just us hanging with the guys talking.
No, no, just Max.
Nothing.
Just say, what?
You're going to take credit for his defensive improvement. Maybe we can ask him that.
How's he feeling about his Baylor Bears right now? I guess.
Okay.
That's tough. We're not allowed to talk college football on here. Okay.
College hoops, though. Baylor's got good ball.
Not this year.
No.
Mm-mm.
Oh.
Wait, we're allowed to
Okay,
talk
Kratzy,
hoops? We're not allowed to talk football?
I like basketball better. Go ahead. You got last licks.
Man, that stunned me. Who's the next? Because you always talk about front offices going to places and then like becoming GMs. Who on the staff with the Dodgers is going to be the next manager?
Worked with a lot of impressive colleagues over there. I would say, I think Danny Lehman is very young, smart, terrific feel for the pitching side and game plan. He's been a real integral part of all the success that's going on in LA. And I think if Danny wanted to do it, Danny would be exceptional at it.
All right. Well, Clayton, thank you so much for the time, man. Really appreciate you carving that out. And obviously excited to see you run with the Marlins in 2025. So enjoy the holidays, and we will most likely be at Marlins spring training. So we'll say hello then.
Great. Looking forward to it. Thanks for having me.
Hey, everybody. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content.
We're back here every weekday, all year long, so do not miss an episode.
The videos are coming in all day. Here's another video you might enjoy.
Baseball the way it should be covered.